Hey guys, my name is Sean Owens, and today I'm going to be showing you how to install a split rail fence. Alright, so I put my wide angle lens on so you guys can see the area a little bit better. So the first part's a little tricky. We're going to be doing a lot of cuts. There's a lot of shorter sections of the fence, but as we go along, you know, it'll get a little easier in certain points. So here's where we're going to start. I got to start right here on the corner. I'm going to go right next to the gutter, come down, and I have to put a gate here because there's a sidewalk going here. So there's going to be an end post here and right here, and then I can continue my normal run. So I'll show you what this process looks like. Here's the space where we're working, and my one post is going to be here. There's another one there, and the corner post, which I just showed you guys. So after this post, we're going to start our normal runs. So it's going to go down here. It's going to be on this side of the sidewalk, and then our corner post is going to be right around here. And then what I have to do is from here, shoot down, go around that little section, and it goes all the way down. So we're going to do that and run all along the perimeter here, and finish somewhere over there on the other side of the house. So it's a lot of digging, but we will hopefully try to get through it. Alright, so here's everything laid out, and the reason why I did this, I want to get the spacing and exactly how far apart the holes are going to be. Alright, so another important thing I want to show you guys before we start. I laid everything out right here. Our posts are going to be 10.5 feet on center. That's where everything lines up. Each of the rails are going to go through and stick out around like 3 or 4 inches. So that's our spacing, and what I also need to do now is see how far down in the ground it's going to go. So I'm going to be putting chicken wire on the back of this. So what I'm going to be doing, the chicken wire goes from the top all the way down. So we're going to measure from that top hole, go down 36. So that's the height of the chicken wire. Okay. All right, so this is where the ground is going to be. That means all this is going to be underground, and we have 21 inches. So that's how deep our holes have to be. Another thing that we're going to do, that first fence post that I have to cut, is not going to go in the ground. It's going to be screwed right to the house. So, and it's going to rest on the foundation wall. So it's not going to go down into the ground. So what I'm going to have to do is cut it to 43 inches because it's going to be sitting right on the corner right there. So that's our first corner post. That's where we're going to start. We'll cut it to 43, and then we can get going. All right, so our numbers before were 43. We're going to mark 43 here. Bring it over. Now I'm going to be doing all the cuts with a chainsaw. So obviously this doesn't matter because it's on the ground, but even when we start cutting the shorter rails, I'm going to be using this. This is very rough sawn wood, so you kind of want that, you know, that hard look to it. So it's our first cut. All right, so we have our first post set right here. I need to do another one here and another one here. And then this is the last one before we do that run. So what I'm gonna do now is I want this section to come out and I want it to be parallel with the house. So what I did, I measured how far off the siding this was. It's 5 inches right here. So at the other end of the house, I put a screw 5 inches away, and I'm gonna loop this string on that, screw down there, pull all the way down, and put a level down so we know exactly where our posts are gonna land. All right, now see how far that string is out? We're gonna go right over here. As soon as it touches that post, that's right where our marks have to be. So right around, right here, we're gonna level down. All right, so there's, right there. And there's our second mark. All right, now it's time to start digging the holes. What I'm gonna do is lay out a small little tarp so I could put all the dirt on there, just so I'm not leaving like little dirt piles all over my yard. Yeah, it'll just be a little easier to work with later. All right, so we have our first hole dug. It's a little deeper than 21 because 21 was our number when we measured before. So there's gonna be a gate right here, and I laid it out 48 inches apart, so that's how wide the gate's gonna be. You don't have to put concrete in every single post. You can if you want to, but with split rail fences, there's not a lot of surface area on them. So if you're doing like a privacy fence, like a big, 8 foot by 6 foot solid, piece of wood, that's a lot of surface area for that wind to push it over. Those posts you need to concrete every single one. Split rail, the only ones I'm going to concrete are right by the gates. So it's just the 2 end posts by the gates, and the rest of the field posts, I'm just going to tamp it down real good, and that should be all right. All right, so we have our 2 holes for the gate. Now what I'm going to do, remember before I put that string line going all the way down, I'm going to set these posts in. I'm actually going to use a fence post mix on this. I've never used it before, so see how it works. I've heard good things about it. So I'm going to put them in, put braces on it, throw that string line across, and line everything up nice. All right, so we have our posts just hanging out there in the holes that we just dug. And what I'm going to show you next is I put this stake into the ground with a screw attached to it, and that same screw that is holding the other end of that line over there that we had before, we're actually going to pull that tight and put it right on this screw, and then we'll have a nice straight line, so when we set our posts, it's perfectly aligned with that string there. All right, so we have our screw right here, and what we're gonna do is pull the line pretty tight right over to here. So as soon as like I feel that's, you know, a good good length, what we're gonna do, take a loop, grab it, and then put it over. I'll show you one more time. It took me forever to get this, but once you get it, it's pretty easy. Put both fingers in here, flip it around like this, and then you have your 2 loops. Bring it over, pull it tight here, let it go, and you want to push that all the way over so it's tight right here. So what I'm gonna do, tighten it a little bit more. Perfect. All right, so now our line goes right down, and now when we set these posts, we can actually line them up perfectly with that line. All right, so here's what I did here. I fast forwarded a little bit. This is, like I said before, the pain in the ass part. These have to be perfectly level because there's gonna be a gate right here. So I leveled this off, and I put little marks on the end on each one of these to keep that exactly 4 feet. And you know, put this going across, and it acts as a leveling system too. So these are plumb. Plumb is up and down, level is horizontal. So what I have to do now is, since these guys are ready to be poured with the concrete, I have to cut my posts in here, or my rails. There's going to be 2 rails in here. So what I'm going to have to do, since these are going to be in already, I have to take that one out, you know, do my measurements, take that one out, put them in, and slip it back all together, and then everything gets screwed together. So that's what I'm going to do now, and yeah, and then we could start pouring these, and then hopefully now we could do our run. One more thing that I did here, you notice the holes are going this way. The gate hinges are going to be here, so it's going to open up this way. The holes line up to catch the rails right here, so I can run it straight down. And on these 2 posts here, the holes are facing each other. So the fence is going to go here, the gate is going to go here, and then I'm going to continue my run going all the way down. All right, so what I'm going to do now is cut 2 sections to fit into that little, you know, that little run over there. It was 53 inches, so I'm just going to mark 53. All right, now what I have to do here now is, after I cut it, I'm going to clamp it to the horse, and on each end I have to replicate that same you know, curve and slope that they have going on there. So for this one, the cuts here, I'm probably going to start here and kind of taper that off so it fits into that notch. This is where I had to trim a couple of the rails here. I tried using a chainsaw, it didn't work out that well. I just have like a little small battery powered one. It's only meant for, you know, cutting the fence posts themselves. What I did here instead, which worked out pretty well, is I used a reciprocating saw and just shave that off. And right now it stands out, but as it weathers, it'll blend in just like the other side. Here. This is the main path right here. So what you want to do when you install your rails, make sure this rail overlaps this one, just so they don't see that end joint. So this is the template that I used yesterday. When I set these posts, I want to make sure they're exactly 4 feet apart in the center, because that's how wide my gate's going to be. And what I did, I made marks right here, and I shot some finish nails in here. So I lined the marks up with the end of the posts, and I did that on the top and the bottom. So. All right, so I'm about as deep as I want to go. I'm 22 inches down. What I did, I actually put a piece of tape on the bottom of the post hole digger, so I don't have to keep, checking it with my tape measure and keep looking for 22. When the ground gets right around here and covers the tape, then my hole is good. All right, so as you keep going, in order to get deeper and deeper, what you want to do is take a spud bar and just keep playing at the edges, which knocks more dirt in, so you can take the post hole digger, because you'll see the post hole digger will max out at a certain point. You take the spud bar, hit the sides, and try to loosen up the dirt in the middle, and then you can use the post hole digger again and go deeper. And later, once the fence is in and you're starting to fill the holes, this acts as a little tamper. You just turn it this way, and you can tamp around the perimeter of the post. All right, so I got my line on, got my holes marked. We only have 2 in this run, and then we're finished with here. All right, so out of the 3 sections, I got the 2 ends done, and both of them are full. So what I'm gonna do in the middle, since it's a cut, I'll show you what you have to do in order to, instead of just measuring, because sometimes it wedges in a little farther or a little, shorter than you think. So I'll show you a technique how to measure these. All right, so here's how you cut these. You want the nice end up, which is like this. All right, you wedge that in there, and then what you want to do, cut it right on this side here. So after it's cut, you can get it in and then pull it back that way. Mark. All right, so we have our piece cut now. It's cut to size, so what we have to do is taper the ends. This part's kind of a pain in the ass. I'm gonna use a reciprocating saw, and I'm just gonna start here, try to make it as symmetrical as you can to the other end. I'm going to start here and just kind of, you know, shaving some down. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you want it to be, you know, somewhat close to the other side. Another option that you can use is a chainsaw. Mine's a little, you know, too small. It's just a little battery powered one. It's meant for just, you know, cutting fence posts and stuff. I don't have a gas powered one. So, you know, you can use that as long as you're careful with it, but for right now, I'm gonna use just the reciprocating saw with a good blade on it. Alright, so we got our piece here. We're just going to see if it fits. Remember what I said earlier about which end goes in first. So in this case, we want that end here to overlap this side, and this end here to tuck in. So everything's symmetrical with the row. Perfect. Alright, so that was our last piece. I will pan out, I'll put a different lens on, and we'll look over everything that we did.